What's up, everybody? And today we're taking a look at another Dragon Ball figure, and this time it is the Vegeta 24,000 power level from SH Figuarts. And this figure just came out, so we're going to be taking a look at this one. I know it's been a little while since I've made a kind of anime or Dragon Ball or Naruto figure kind of review, but it's because I've been, getting a lot of these figures in, so we are just going to pretty much take a nice look here at the box, and there's a lot of nice things with this figure, so let's get started. So just taking a look at the box here, it's pretty much your standard figuarts box. There's not gonna be anything too crazy about it, other than some of the pictures on the box, and of course the window with the figure in it. So, of course, there's the Dragon Ball Z logoing and everything here at the bottom. Not too sure what this symbol is here for, because I've never gotten a premium Bandai before. I assume it's the web symbol or premium symbol or something. Not too sure. But, of course, you got the Toei animation symbol right there. Of course, the Bandai and Smoshi Nations logo. Of course, right there, Dragon Ball Z. And, of course, you got a very nice look at the pretty much, namek saga Vegeta, because I'm not going to lie, I'm not going to say 24,000 for this whole video. This is namek Vegeta. But as you can see, Vegeta 24,000 power level right there. And just flipping to the side here, you can see some of the different expressions. And, of course, on the back here, you can see a lot of the different posing that you can do with this figure. And there's just a lot of really nice things with this figure that I really do like. And, Vegeta in this kind of older style Saiyan armor is honestly my favorite. So let's open this up. After messing with this figure for a little bit, I gotta say it's the best. And I mean, just going over the sculpt here, this figure is just amazing. Like, in just every possible way. And I will show in comparisons how, just far that Bandai has come with making these kind of more animation accurate type of figures nowadays and everything. But this thing is just crazy good. And when it comes down to the proportions and the sculpt on this thing, it's 100% that early animation from Dragon Ball Z that just looks and just feels great. Just, from that, kind of over-dramatic big hair to this, kind of just very short, stocky look, and to the, very obviously, very wide chest, too, as well. This thing just looks really, 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 really good. I love the coloring on it. I love just the sculpt work that's been put into this. I'm not sure if any part of this is reuse. It might be. I'm just not completely sure. I don't know if the legs might be some reuse, or if the obviously the arms are reuse or not. But definitely, I know the torso and the head area, those are definitely new. Because I've never seen these before at all. And I've gotten quite a bit of Vegeta figures, but I really do love the sculpt work on this thing. But yeah, I mean, I've gotten quite a bit of Vegeta figures now. To where I haven't seen any of these parts before, unless maybe the arms and legs, but I don't know. It's just, man, this chest is, really, really wide. But, yeah, it's really, really nice, and just taking a look at all this detail, I mean, obviously, there's not too much sculpt work, but, because it is, an anime-type figure, but what's here is really, really great. And, of course, you can see there's, indents there in the legs, so that way they can move farther. They even gave him butt sculpt work, so he has a butt crack. That's a little... that's some pretty nice attention to detail there, Bandai. But, yeah, I see back here, very, very nice paint work and sculpt work for his Saiyan armor. The Saiyan armor really does pop. As you can see, it just looks very, very, very nice. Now, there are some breakages in these shoulder pads, but it's because they actually move out of the way. But we'll get into that more into articulation. He does have a very interesting gappage around the torso area, but we'll get to that into the articulation. And as for this head here, this head is probably the most perfect Vegeta head I think I've seen in a minute. And, I mean, that looks like Vegeta. I mean, because, I mean, I did pick up the Scouter, the original Scouter Vegeta, which you will see in this video. And that Scouter Vegeta's head just does not exactly invoke the early style of Vegeta. But this one does really, really well. I'm almost tempted just to, get another one of these just so I can switch it out. But, of course, you can take off the Scouter to this figure, which is very, very nice. So you can have different looks for him. But I'll get more into that into the accessory section because I really did like what they did with this. But just taking a look at this Scouter real quick, it is very small. And, of course, it just does peg into there. But we'll talk about more about that when I get down to the accessories. But yeah, I mean, there's amazing sculpt warped all around for this head. I really do love the little line work into the hair. Just kind of gives it a little bit more, a little depth. But it is very, very, very sharp. So it will kind of poke you a little bit. But yeah, very, very, very nice looking figure here. And yeah, I mean, it is a premium Bandai, so it's going to be a little bit on the harder side to get. You can't exactly go into Walmart and find it, but yeah, that hair is very pokey, so I'd be careful. You could potentially poke yourself with it, but it's very, very smooth. It has this almost matte finish on it that just looks very and feels very nice. I don't know. I just really like the way this head sculpt works, because that's one of the main things that sold me on this was the head sculpt itself. Just because it looks so good, and I don't know if they could ever top this ever again. But I do like the coloring for the white here. It's almost like an off-white sort of, but it does look very, very nice. And yeah, I mean, there's really not too much left to go over as far as the sculpt work goes, so let's head a little deeper into this figure. So yeah, I mean, this figure does look very, very nice. I really do like how he looks in his presence. He makes his presence known, but I think it's about time we take a look at his articulation and see how he stacks up. So, of course, going into the articulation here, he is very articulated, but there are some small issues that I do have with it. But of course, just starting off with, the head can pretty much go and look down about that far, which is pretty much all the way. He can look up about that far, and this is where the first problem kind of comes in, is that gap. That gap is a little unsightly. Kind of don't like it, because you can see the white joints underneath, but if you try to keep it down a little bit and move the head up, you don't really get as much range as you would want. But, I probably will never have him looking that far up anyway. I just think that's something to point out, is that major gap there. But, of course, the head can move side to side, too, as well, on to that kind of neck joint. The neck can move pretty much all the way around. Of course, you can, move the head pretty much any direction that you would like. But as far as the arms go, this is something interesting that they did differently than the first Scouter Vegeta. So basically these shoulder pauldrons here, which they feel super, super smooth. I like the way they feel. You can actually move them out of the way like that. And they are also on a hinge too in the back. And you can hinge them around to make room for the arm. And of course, you're just putting them back. They can be seamless. So just kind of moving the arm up, just kind of getting that out of the way, just to give some range here. He does have butterfly joints, so they move pretty much forward about that far before it hits pretty much his chest armor, and back, not so much. That's the only downside. But of course, you can move also that butterfly joint up too as well. It's very universal. And the arm can move pretty much up all the way about that far. And he does have pretty much full arm rotation. It does kind of just rotate all the way around like so. And then once it gets to the shoulder pad, you can pretty much just move the shoulder pad around wherever you move the arm, so you can kind of make it as seamless as possible. It's still going to look a little bit broken up, but it's it's not too bad. Yeah, that's pretty much the shoulder pad articulation there. Pretty interesting idea for the arm movement, but it's not too terrible. But of course, he does have a bicep swivel right there, and he does have double jointed elbows, which can move a little bit past 90 degrees, not too much, but you can kind of get him to move almost all the way if you kind of force it a little bit there. It's going to get in the way of the gloves a little bit, but of course his wrists do have a full range there, as figuarts wrists usually do. And as far as his torso goes, let me just get this whole arm area situated again. As far as the torso, he does have a kind of diaphragm joint here, and it does not lift up, which is interesting. Usually Saiyan armors lift up a little bit, but this one does not. So he's going to be a little bit limited in there, I guess. So you can only crunch forward about that far. Crunch back a little bit, not much. I wish there was a little bit more range in that. Or maybe does it go up a little bit? No, I don't think it does. Huh. Interesting. He does have a little bit of a waist swivel. You can pretty much swivel it all the way around. But as far as the legs go, you can kick up about that far. And you can kick back pretty much almost all the way if you get it. But I'm going to stop it right there because it hits the butt. You can basically do not really the splits. He does have a thigh rotation there. And, of course, the usual double-jointed knee, like so. Goes in pretty deep. And then as far as the foot goes, the foot can go up about that far. But I think if you bring it back, you can make it go up a little bit farther. It's going to be a little difficult, but you can try and make it happen. And, of course, the foot can go down pretty much that far. And he does have a toe bend. And as far as the ankle goes here, slight ankle, like kind of pivot there. Not too much. And you can, twist his foot around a little bit there. So, pretty much, for his articulation, he's pretty fairly articulated, as all figures are. Some slight limitations with the leg going back, and of course with the ab crunch, because there's really isn't much going on there with the ab crunch. But he's a pretty decently articulated, guy, and, I think he does the job well for what he is. He is a premium Bandai, so I kind of would have expected a little bit more. But at least he does come with a buttload of accessories. So, right out of the box, he does come with these two kind of standard little punchy fists. And then he also does come with these kind of splayed out Final Flash type of hands, or, just like kind of key blast types of hands, which are sculpted, pretty nicely for what they are. And then, of course, he does also have these kind of Gallic gun style hands, or, kind of like grippy or gritty type of grabby hands here, which are also sculpted very nice. And of course, you can't have a Vegeta figure without his, iconic crossed arms. So he does come with these crossed arm accessory pieces here. And I say pieces because they do actually come apart here. They come apart on one of the sides here in order to put them on. But these are a different type of crossed arm pieces. They actually go in a little bit differently, which I will show you how they work. So just showing how these kind of crossed arm pieces are going to work. I'm just going to kind of move the shoulder pads out of the way, and you're actually supposed to just kind of take the arms off, like the entire arm off the ball joint there. So you're just going to kind of have to try and grab it there and try and pop it off as best as you can. Might be a little bit difficult at first because if you get it, brand new out of the box. But if I can try and get it off there, I will. I really don't want to break this figure at all. But if you just pop it off like so, that's what you're going to have to do basically for the other arm too as well. So I think what I'm going to do is I'll do the other arm off camera, just so that way I can make sure I do it accurately and, without breaking it. Unless I can try and get it now, I'm just going to try. But you're just going to want to grab and just try and pull it off as best as you can without breaking it. Of course, hopefully it wants to work with me. If not, I'm going to have to do it off camera, because I'm not exactly the biggest fan of how they're doing these cross arms now. I feel like they could have still done the usual way, but of course they want to do something a little bit different, since this figure has obviously, different pauldrons and different ways of doing a lot of different things. So they want to do a lot of new, so I'll do it off camera. Alright, so you're basically going to have this kind of, armless Vegeta here. Also going to make sure the pauldrons are in the back here, just going to make it a lot easier. And then you will just split it. The arms here at this section right here, it just comes off. It might take a second, but it just comes off like that. And then what you do is just take that ball joint piece and put it in there, which, to be honest, is a lot trickier than it looks like, because it just will kind of go in, but then obviously the butterfly joint gets in the way and goes inside the body. So I don't really think that this is much more of an effective way to do this, just because then it just creates a lot of finagling, and it's more so just less of just a pop the arms off at the bicep and then just place on the arms. You have to do a lot of fiddling just to get these actually on. As you can see right here, I'm having a bit of trouble actually getting these to, line up perfectly, just because they constantly just like to go inside the chest. But once you do get it, it should look pretty great. If I can just get it to line up. Man, this thing's annoying. Yeah, they didn't really think this one through, did they? And plus the ball joints tab in ball joint in very like softly, so the arms will like to come out too. But I think I got it as good as possible. And there we go. That should be it. Now we're just going to try and we're going to get these shoulder pauldrons back in place here, just to straighten everything up, because now we actually got the crossed arms in. So just putting these kind of back in their spots and away from the back. That is pretty much him with his crossed arms on. And I do admit the crossed arms do look really great, and I do think that they look a lot cleaner. But yeah, I don't know. The method to doing it is not exactly the best. I think they could have definitely just used the classic style, but maybe it was harder with this type of torso, which is understandable. But I still feel like there was a better way, because this is a little bit finagly and doesn't exactly like to work with me. But yeah. So while this figure does look good with those crossed arms, I'm just not big on how they go in. But there's more stuff. And speaking of more stuff, he does have these type of karate chop hands, which I assume are, more scene-specific for certain things that he did on Namek. But yeah, he does have these kind of karate chop hands, and they're sculpted pretty nicely. I don't think any other Vegeta figure has come with these type of, karate chop style hands, or at least I think there isn't any other Vegeta figure that's come with these hands. You could prove me wrong, but I don't know. They do look pretty nice. But of course, figuarts is best known for their faceplates. So as far as faceplates, you do get this expression right out of the box. It's your classic Vegeta kind of smirk with the scouter on. But of course, there are other things that go with these sculpts. So you can actually take off the scouter, and we'll take a look at the scouter here more in detail. It is just clear plastic that is painted over, but it is honestly a nicer scouter design compared to the original Scouter Vegeta. This definitely feels a lot more like how the Scouters looked in the actual show. But then coming back to the figure here, you notice you take the Scouter off and he's missing an ear. Well, they actually did something a little interesting here. So instead of giving two head sculpts, one having a part where you can have a Scouter in, you can actually take the ear off of this other sculpt here. You only do get one ear, so it's not an ear with every head sculpt, which makes sense. Why would you need that many ears if it's just a universal system they're using here for this head sculpt? But you can just peg the ear on. And yeah, it is going to leave a little bit of a seam right there that you can see. But it's honestly a way better way of doing the Scouter than having two head sculpts. So I am going to show every face with the Scouter and without the Scouter, but you do get this other kind of, like gritting, kind of angry battle Vegeta type of face here too as well. So this is what it looks like basically, with the Scouter on here. And it does look pretty nice. I mean, these head sculpts are really great for Vegeta. And of course, here's the same face, but without the Scouter this time. And again, they just did a really great and amazing job with these Vegeta faces. They look very, very animation accurate. And yeah, I mean, it's really, really, really nice. Here's another sculpt that this figure comes with, which is, again, it's another smirking face, but this time it's got a little bit of teeth showing. So it's slightly more expressive than the kind of regular smirking face. But this is what it looks like with the Scouter on. And it does look pretty nice, so you can have a lot of expression with this just single Vegeta. And of course, here's the same, slightly open mouth smirking face without the Scouter. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty much, gives off the same kind of effect, just, without the Scouter this time. I just love how there's like a lot of expression that you can do with this guy, and you could have him, with or without the Scouter. It's just a really, really great figure. And of course, the last and final face, which is honestly probably one of the more interesting and cooler faces that this figure comes with. This just screams early Dragon Ball. And of course, here's the same face, but without the Scouter. And I just want to go like a little bit more in detail with this specific face here, because it just is perfect. They captured that early Dragon Ball Vegeta like face just perfectly, and to have a face like this is really, really, really nice. And I know once I get that Namek final battle suit Vegeta, because I do have it on pre-order, that both of them I will be able to interswap pretty much the faces with them and kind of create a bunch of different looks for Vegeta. And I quite like how this looks. I mean, they did really nice with the paintwork on the mouth there and everything. It just looks really, really, really good. And it's super close to what the animation style is, which is pretty crazy. I think about it's time we do a pose test. So I hope you enjoyed that kind of short little pose test there, but I think it's about time we take a look at the scale of this guy and see how he stacks up. So what I'm basically going to do is I'm going to scale him up with some of the other Vegetas I've gotten while I haven't been posting any Dragon Ball videos, since I've been just getting a lot of figures in and trying to get a bunch of Vegetas because I just love Vegeta. Then I'll do a head swap after. But yeah, we got the kind of a little kit bash here with the Super Saiyan Vegeta Blood Awakening body with the superhero head on, just to kind of get just like a base Vegeta look. But yeah, I mean, they see how they look together next to the more modern kind of Saiyan body. You can see quite clearly how much shorter this new Vegeta is. And of course, taking him out and bringing out the regular Super Saiyan Blood Awakening body and figure, just to kind of show the, obviously, how the figure, how it would usually look compared to the new 24,000 power level 1. Yeah, you can see this Vegeta definitely is a little bit shorter than this, kind of more modern Vegeta. But it doesn't look too bad together. Now I'm just going to bring in the kind of superhero body with a Super Saiyan head sculpt on it, because I'm going to be trying to attempt to make a Majin Vegeta, because you're not going to catch me paying $200 some or whatever for a Majin Vegeta. But of course, this superhero body doesn't like to stand because of these baby feet. I don't know why they gave it baby feet. All the figures from that and characters from that movie had baby feet for some reason, so I'm just gonna try and fix that up there. And with the Super Saiyan, not Super Saiyan, the superhero body with the Super Saiyan hair, he kind of is almost about the same size, so seems pretty accurate. And of course, just bringing in my kind of final Vegeta comparison. This is the original Scouter Vegeta that I had gotten, and this one still uses the original way of doing the crossed arms. And massive improvement, mainly in the head region too as well. But yeah, I mean, as you can see, the original one I still think it holds up. I still think it's good, but the new one is just so much more close to the animation and so much more accurate that, I just gotta say the new one's better. But I do wish that the new one had some of the stuff the old one does, like mainly the arms for the crossed arms. But I will be kind of head swapping both of them just to see how both of them would basically look head swapped. Because I really do want to see what this new head looks like on the Saiyan Saga type of body, just because I really do like the Vegeta Saiyan Saga look. But yeah, as you just coming in close here, just taking a look even at the Scouters. The Scouters are, obviously vastly different compared to each other. And just looking at the faces too as well. Also, the way the pauldrons work. This older Vegeta, the pauldron pieces just kind of go straight up rather than the way the new one works, where the new one just kind of flings backwards. But yeah, I mean, these I still think the Scouter Vegeta holds up pretty well. But obviously, I think we all know which one's the better one out of these ones. So just taking the Scouter one out of the way and just bringing in two more kind of comparisons here. Two Gokus. Of course, just to see what he would look like next to a Goku figure. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in Goku Black. This is the Demonical Fit Chosen One Goku Black. Just to kind of show you just how it looks next to this kind of more modernized kind of style figure. Then, of course, bringing in the superhero. Sorry, I mixed my words up, but the Saiyan raised on Earth Goku. Because I'm pretty sure this is the Goku a lot of people are going to want to have or already have to compare with the two. But yeah, I mean, they don't look too bad next to each other, and I think it works out quite well. And there is the SDCC Goku coming out, which I do want to try and get, hopefully, so I can compare with this one. But yeah, I mean, this is a pretty nice Vegeta. So let's do head swaps. So when it does come down to head swaps, I'm mainly going to do the Saiyan armor body here. Oops, kind of thought what happened there. Just gotta kind of bring them back up. When it comes to head swaps, though, I'm mainly going to swap it with this Saiyan armor body from basically the Cell Saga, and then I'm going to swap it, of course, with the Scouter body. But first, we'll just do it with this kind of Saiyan body, so I'm just going to take the face plates off first real quick, just to make it a little bit easier, so that way I can swap them out. I'm going to do it off camera. So, basically, this is what the new Vegeta head looks like on the Saiyan armor body, and it doesn't really work. It's very, very loose because the peg hole is a little bit bigger. Now, if you were a little bit curious about the Saiyan armor, well, this is what the new Vegeta head looks like on the Saiyan armor body from the Saiyan Saga. And, you know, I really do think that this works. It makes him look a little bit on the shorter side. But yeah, I mean, this kind of makes me want to get one more at least of these new Vegetas, just that way I can display my Saiyan armor one with this head sculpt on. But I really do think that this works out actually pretty nicely. And it doesn't look off or weird at all, but that is how it looks like on the Saiyan armor. Plus, if you have the old Scouter Vegeta, you do have the hand accessory. And I do really think that this hand accessory mixed with this kind of screaming Vegeta face works out really perfectly. And there will be a mod that I'll be trying to do with this new Namek Vegeta to try and make him to the Saiyan armor one. But if you do have the old Scouter Vegeta and you do have this hand accessory, you can pretty much recreate the it's over 9,000 kind of scene from the show, in the beginning of the show part where he does do that and everything. And I think it actually works out really, really well, and this looks really great actually, and I really do thoroughly enjoy this look going on. So let's get into final thoughts. So as far as the final thoughts go, this figure is great. It's perfect. I don't have any problems with it. Besides, I think I think the crossed arms are a bit finicky. That's all I can really say that's bad about it. The articulation is pretty great. I think the torso it's a little bit on the limited side. I feel like it could have used some more range. I really do thoroughly enjoy the head sculpts. The articulation is pretty much up to par with figuarts nowadays, so there's no complaints with that. Sculpt works great, paint works great. Definitely recommend it if you're, a big fan of Vegeta, as I am. So I would definitely recommend picking it up if you're a big Vegeta fan. And of course, here's this little burst open and mix type of pose here. But you can get him into some really great poses. He's definitely really worth it if you like if you really do like the early kind of art style of Dragon Ball Z, or if you're a fan of Dragon Ball in general. I got this figure from a guy on Facebook, which I will throw up his thing if you do want to buy from him. You can get your exclusives from him, and he gets them quite frequently when they do come out, and he's very fair, and you get free effects pieces and everything too as well. But yeah, this figure is really great. Highly recommend it. Definitely go check out that guy that I got mine from, and that's pretty much it. Just make sure to like, subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one. And if you think about purchasing this figure, I would definitely not wait.